Two 20-year-old twins who are destined to go all the way in the music business. But my next guest is multi-talented. She can do it all. She really can. She's been working professionally since she was a tiny child. She was on the West End stage while still at school, and she's gone on to perform on Broadway too. As a presenter, she was launched onto our TV screens back in 1996 now on The Big Breakfast. More recently, she's shimmied her way to the final of Strictly Come Dancing. Please welcome the one and only Denise Van Outen.
Introduction. Thank you. Nice to see you.
And you, Mother.
Hello. Nice to see you.
You should be about 80 with all you've done.
I feel it. No, when you say all of that, I sort of think, oh, I sound just really greedy.
Not at all. But no, it sounds like, you know, you've had a really exciting career so far, doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's been really varied. I'm very lucky, actually, that I've been able to do so much. So always had fun.
And on the back of the whole Strictly experience, which I've done as well, but not as successfully as you, I hid myself behind a Russian until I got found out. I think it was week 10 or something like that. They realised, my God, he's really fat and rubbish at dancing, and that was my time over. But you've loved it so much that you've partnered up with Kimberley Walsh, who was on a couple of weeks ago, actually, and Tointon, and you're writing your own show.
We are. We became really good friends through Strictly. Right. And we just went out for dinner one evening and said we really missed the dancing, because people always ask you, have you carried on dancing after Strictly? And you're like, well, you can't really, because you need a professional partner to dance with. You can't just go up to someone in a supermarket and go, do you fancy a tango, love?
Well, you could.
Well, you could.
And they'd love it.
And they do in Essex, trust me. But no, you know, and I just said to the girls, well, why don't we think about doing our own show? And because the three of us sing and we've all played lead roles in the West End, we said we could do something that kind of combines the ballroom, the Latin, and also the other side of the dancing as well, you know, all the tap and the ballet and sing as well. So we're going to put on like this big spectacular show.
I thought you were brilliant at Strictly, and I also got really annoyed with people criticising you for saying that you'd danced before, because, OK, you'd moved before and you've done a bit of musical theatre dancing, but you haven't done, you know, as you say, the ballroom and the Latin. And when you're there in that room, learning a new dance every 5 days...
It's partnership dancing as well, isn't it?
I'd never danced with a partner. And also, the dancing that I'd done was actually at Sylvia Young Theatre School when I was a kid. And unless people have seen me in the roles that I've played in the West End, I never really danced. Chicago was the closest thing to dancing, but the role of Roxy, she isn't really the dancer. No. Velma does all the dancing, you know, all the high kicking and splits. And
great role that was.
Yeah, but Roxy, you know, you do that dance at the end, which took me a couple of weeks to learn.
It's interesting you mentioned Sylvia Young, because you were doing the West End stage, doing Les Mis when you were
11.
In Sylvia Young. You know, and where does the showbiz come from then? Because your parents had normal jobs. Your dad was a security guard.
Yeah, and he was a
mum childcare.
Yeah, my dad was a docker when I was growing up. My mum worked in schools and she used to look after children, and she was a cleaner, and they had various jobs. But I don't know where it came from.
And they have this daughter who's...
Yeah, it's so weird. It was like I literally came out of the womb with jazz hands and launched myself into the splits.
You think she's joking, OK? She started earning money. Well, we have. She started earning money when she was very young. It was a knitting pattern catalogue. Here she is. Have a look at this.
Oh,
yeah.
She's the one on the left.
I love those leg warmers.
Look at that. That's why I chose that one, because of the leg warmers. It really made me laugh, because my mum's kept all my knitting patterns, but I started modelling at the age of 7, and I just used to do it during school holidays, so it never interfered with my schooling until I went to Sylvia Young. Yeah. But yeah, I loved it, and I did do a lot of knitting patterns. But you've been on the knitting.
I was going to say, you know, we've all been there, done it.
I've not.
Check mine out.
Oh, look at that! Look, see, with my leg warmers and your sweater, we'd have looked great.
Absolutely, and my really, really bad hair. Going back to, you know, what you're working on now, you're doing a Febreze road trip. Tell us more about that.
Yes, well, I'm not actually on the road trip. I set the guys up. We had 3 guys that won the chance to go on an 18-day road trip across Europe.
Nice.
Which is amazing, and they were set all these sort of challenges, stinky challenges in this car, and it was basically a fun way of just seeing if they could keep their car clean by using this product. And I set them off from Goodwood, the Festival of Speed, which is incredible. Yeah. They got to do the famous hill climb, which they were very excited about, and they just came back to London, and I was there to greet them with their families and friends, which was really fun. Do you know what? They were quite smelling. The car was fresh, which I guess means it did the trick.
And what about this cycle ride then, Cambodia?
Yes, well, every year I try and do one big physical challenge for charity. Yeah. And the first one I did was about nearly 6 years ago for Comic Relief, which was the Kilimanjaro, which is where I met Kimberley Walsh, and we became very good friends, bonded intense. And then Machu Picchu, I trekked across the Andes in Peru, and then cycled across Rajasthan, And then last year was the Great Wall of China. And this year I'm going to cycle through Cambodia to Vietnam.
Wow.
So, yeah, I try and do one every year.
Why? Just the challenges?
I love the challenge. Because I worked from a really young age, I never did that thing where you go travelling. And all my friends did it when they were younger.
So you're having a gap year now?
So, yeah, it's kind of like doing it now, really. But because I'm a mum, obviously, I can only go for a limited amount of time. And most of my challenges take no longer than 8 days. But I'll take a team of friends with me. And I love training for it. It gives me a really good focus. Yeah. And also, when you do it for a charity, it's such a brilliant feeling, you know, to be able to raise money for a great cause.
You said your mum, she's starting school soon, isn't she?
Yeah, Betsy's 4, so it just goes so fast. Yeah. So September, she's at school, which is really scary.
Before you know it, she'll be doing exams.
I know. And then all
How
the homework.
are her jazz hands?
Do you know what? It's really weird, because I haven't pushed it, because I think, because I do it and her dad Lee does it, and we just both feel, we love the business, but I don't know, I just want her to do what she enjoys and what her passion is. I don't want her to be forced into anything. I mean, the school she's going to, they're very sporty. And I guess, like, as a parent, you always want for your kid what you never had. And I never really sort of did all the sport thing, because I was always doing, like, the showbizy thing. So, you know, I'd like her to just be in teams and, you know, joining in with her friends.
But as a mother, you've probably advised her not to flash in front of the royal family. Do you know where I'm going with this?
I do know where you're going. I've always had a naughty streak. Watch yourself.
Oh, hey, that's why we've invited you on.
Oh, I'll tell you what happened. I'm one of those people, if someone dares me to do something, I will do it.
Yeah.
So I have to say to people, don't. Because it was... Where was it? It was like Party in the Park. This was years ago. And for the royal lineup, I just must have had this glint in my eye that said I was going to do something naughty. And my friend had dared me and said to me, I dare you to flash Prince Charles. So I'm in the royal lineup, and literally I was like, you know I'm going to do it. And one of the royal officials who had met me before, because I'd been to lots of royal events, saw me, thought she's going to do something. So he frog marched me out of the lineup, like literally I was with security, and took me in to this like marquee, but of course it was all glass. So I thought, and then I was right in his eye line. So as he was greeting, do you know the band Steps? As he was greeting Steps, I literally just went, hey, like that. And I've got this most amazing picture that the press have never even seen, because there were photographers there, but my friend had her camera ready, and I've got a picture at home of him going, and then me just going...
It's the highlight of Prince Charles's life.
Yeah, he remembers it as well.
Does he?
Yeah, because
what you didn't say to him?
Well, I was invited to Clarence's house for a charity thing that I did, and he invited me and some of my friends along. And
once flashed, never forgotten.
Yeah, and he said to me, "What are you going to do today?" And I went, "Yeah, all right, I'm going to behave myself now. I'm a grown-up."
Naughty man.
But then you never know.
No.
There's always next time.
Is it hot in here? Is it just me? Hey, listen, good luck with all your projects. It's always lovely to see you.
Thank you.
It really is. Our life